Every March 17th, something truly amazing happens all over the world. Rivers are sometimes turned green. Fountains in big shopping places flow with green water. Tall buildings light up in green, like a shamrock. Soldiers who have never been to Ireland march to the sound of special musical pipes called bagpipes. Popular Irish food, such as corned beef, sells out in stores from far places like Texas to Tokyo. Pubs from London to Lagos pour more Guinness beer. Millions of people who do not have any Irish family happily say they are Irish for just one day. St. Patrick's Day is the yearly special day for St. Patrick, who is Ireland's most important saint. It is celebrated on March 17th. This day is a strange paradox in human history. It is a religious day, but most people celebrate it without thinking about religion, making it mostly secular. It is an Irish holiday, but many of its well-known parts were first created in America. It honors a saint who was not born in Ireland. Its long history includes great sadness, like hunger and many people leaving their homes. Yet today it is famous for green drinks, funny leprechaun hats made of plastic, and very big, loud parades. By March 17, 2026, it is possibly more popular and makes more money than ever, with sales reaching $7.7 billion. This is an incredible global phenomenon.
To understand why this day is so special, why so many people are drawn to it, and why it brings in so much money, we must go back more than 1,500 years. We need to travel to a rocky coast, maybe in what is now Wales or Scotland. There we find the amazing story of a boy who was taken from his family. Through great suffering and strong faith, he would change the future of a nation. This kidnapped boy from Roman Britain, who was traumatized, became the main reason for a huge $7.7 billion global event. Patrick was born in Roman Britain, likely in the late 400s. He wrote about his life in a book called The Confessio. He was about 16 years old when Irish pirates captured him. They took him as a slave to Ireland. He lived there for 6 years, working as a shepherd with animals. He was cold, afraid, and far from home. During his time as a slave, he learned the language and ways of the Irish people. He prayed many times every day. One night, he had a dream. God told him to leave Ireland by going to the coast. He escaped, found a ship, and went back to his family in Britain. But his story was far from over. Later, he had another powerful dream. The people of Ireland were calling him to come back and teach them about God. So he began to study to become a priest. He was given the name Patrick. He was then sent back to Ireland to spread Christianity. He died on March 17, 461.
By this time, he had started churches and schools. Many stories grew about him. His special day, March 17th, grew from a quiet religious commemoration into a huge global cultural celebration. This is a shocking change. The most famous Irish holiday in the world was mostly made big in America, and its main saint was not even Irish. Imagine that young, scared boy on a dark, terrifying journey across the sea. He was going to a new land, a new life, and he had no idea that his difficult path would one day change the course of a nation and the world forever. 2. The true story of Patrick. Patrick was not born in Ireland. He was born in Roman Britain, probably in the late 300s. His real name was Maewyn Succat. When he was about 16 years old, a terrible thing happened. Irish pirates captured him and took him across the sea to Ireland. He became a slave. This was a strange beginning for the person who would become Ireland's main patron saint. He had a family and a good life, but it was all taken away in one day. For 6 long years, Maewyn worked as an animal herder. He was often cold, hungry, and scared on the wild Irish hillsides. During this very difficult time, he learned the Irish language and their way of life, which was important later. He also prayed a lot, sometimes more than 100 times a day, even in bad weather. He felt very close to God in his loneliness. This period of suffering and constant prayer became his spiritual awakening.
It changed him forever. Many well-known stories grew about Patrick, but not all are true. For example, people say he drove all the snakes out of Ireland, but this is not true at all. Ireland is an island, and there have never been snakes living there naturally. The cold ocean waters keep them away. This story is actually a metaphor. It means Patrick helped bring Christianity to Ireland, removing older, possibly pagan beliefs, much like removing bad things, symbolized by snakes in ancient traditions. Another famous story says Patrick used a shamrock, a small 3-leaf plant, to explain the Holy Trinity. He showed people how 3 leaves could be part of one plant, just like God is 3 persons in one, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. This legend helps people understand a difficult idea and has been written about since the 1700s. It is also surprising that Patrick was never formally made a saint by the Catholic Church. He lived before the Church had clear rules for this process, called canonization. But people loved him and believed deeply in what he did for Ireland. So for many hundreds of years, people simply decided he was a saint. His status came from popular devotion and the heartfelt belief of the Irish people. One night, after 6 years of hard slavery, Maewyn had a very clear and powerful dream. In this dream, a voice told him, "You are right to fast. You are going home. Look, your ship is ready."
This dream felt like a direct command from God. It told him to escape to the coast and find a ship. He knew this journey would be incredibly dangerous, covering many miles through unfamiliar lands. It could easily cost him his life if he was caught. But he felt a powerful, irresistible urge to follow the dream. This mysterious vision set him on a path that would change his life and the future of an entire nation. His destiny was calling him, even in his darkest hour. How the party began. St. Patrick's Day first began in Ireland around the 9th or 10th century. It was a day to honor St. Patrick, who was important to the Roman Catholic Church. For many years, it was a quiet, serious religious observance. In the early 17th century, it became an official Christian feast day. Many churches, like the Catholic Church, still celebrate it today. During the Christian time of Lent, people usually stop eating certain foods and drinking alcohol as a form of spiritual discipline. However, on St. Patrick's Day, these strict rules were briefly lifted. This small liturgical change was a brief respite from the usual austerity. This freedom allowed people to gather, eat, drink, and be merry. This brief pause planted the first seeds of what would later grow into a global celebration known for its joy and festivity.
However, the transformation of St. Patrick's Day from a solemn feast into a boisterous cultural carnival happened mainly in America.
This shift was strongly linked to one of the most significant and painful migrations in history. Large numbers of Irish people left their homeland, especially after the catastrophic Great Famine of the 1840s. During this terrible period, about 1 million Irish people died from starvation and disease, and another million emigrated, mostly to the United States. These Irish immigrants began observing St. Patrick's Day in America even before the famous parade started. In New York City in 1762, Irish soldiers serving in the English military marched to honor St. Patrick. This event is known as the first parade of its kind, and it became a blueprint for similar celebrations around the world. As more Irish arrived, their patriotism grew stronger. They formed groups called Irish Aid Societies, such as the Friendly Sons of St. Patrick. These organizations used March 17th as a central point to strengthen Irish identity and pride. They helped new arrivals and built a sense of community in a country that was not always welcoming. In the 19th century, Irish immigrant communities faced much discrimination and nativist hostility from those already settled in America. The parades became a powerful way for them to assert their presence and fight back against unfair treatment. By the early 20th century, St. Patrick's Day had become a very important cultural event in American civic life.
The immigrants faced terrible discrimination in their new home, but they were about to use March 17th as a powerful, unexpected weapon to fight back. Why we wear green. Most people today think of green when they think of St. Patrick's Day. They wear green clothes, drink green drinks, and see green decorations everywhere. But this color has a long and interesting past, and it was not always connected to St. Patrick. In fact, the first color linked to St. Patrick was blue. An old Irish group from the 1700s called the Order of St. Patrick used blue as its special color. For a time, blue was the traditional color for the saint. This is why you might sometimes see old pictures or flags with blue instead of green. The big change to green happened because of politics and a fight for freedom. In the 1790s, a group called the United Irishmen chose green as their color. This group wanted Ireland to be free from British rule. They started a rebellion in 1798 to achieve this goal. During this time, wearing green was a strong act of defiance against the British Empire. It was a dangerous act. People who wore green could be persecuted or punished by the British authorities. The popular phrase, "wearing of the green," comes from a song about these Irish people who were treated badly for their choice of color. Ireland was even called the Emerald Isle in a poem from 1795 by William Drennan, who helped start the United Irishmen group.
So, the color green became strongly associated with Irish identity through a powerful act of political republicanism. It clearly showed that you supported Irish freedom and were against British rule. It was a sign of a deep desire for national independence. Over many years, the strong political meaning of green slowly faded away. It became more of a general cultural symbol for Irish heritage. People still wore green to show they were Irish, but it was no longer a dangerous sign of rebellion or protest. The shamrock, a small green plant, also became a very popular Irish symbol in the 18th century. Because Ireland has so many green fields, and the shamrock was so loved, the color green became a permanent part of the holiday. It truly settled as the official color. Today, wearing green on St. Patrick's Day is almost automatic. It is the most common activity reported by Americans for the day. Almost 80% of Americans say they will wear something green. It is no longer a symbol of bloody revolution or political struggle. Instead, it often means good feelings, happiness, and shared celebration with friends and family. How did this powerful color, once a sign of violent change and national struggle, become a simple excuse to sell green cakes, green beer, and other festive items? The answer lies in the quiet but strong power of commercialism and popular culture.
The big American holiday. The United States has played a very big part in shaping the modern St. Patrick's Day. It made the holiday much bigger and more public. More than 31 million people in the U.S. say they have Irish family. This large community, found across the country, helped the holiday grow a lot. The first St. Patrick's Day parade was in New York City in 1762. This was a long time ago, even before America became an independent country. The Declaration of Independence was signed 14 years later. This New York parade is now the oldest yearly civic parade in the world. It showed how Irish immigrants wanted to celebrate their unique identity and pride in their new home. These early celebrations helped the day become a special event. One very famous American tradition happens in Chicago. Every year, the Chicago River turns a bright green. This special event is done by members of the Chicago Plumbers Union. They use boats and a special mixture sprayed from pipes into the water. The liquid looks orange at first, then it quickly changes to a vibrant green color once the dye settles. This amazing sight takes about 45 minutes. It costs around $6,000 to dye the river green for the holiday. This unique event makes St. Patrick's Day unforgettable in America and draws many visitors. Many other American cities also celebrate with great enthusiasm.
Savannah, Georgia, for example, has had its own annual parade since 1813. In St. Paul, Minnesota, people celebrate their Irish family history with a parade that turns 60 years old in 2026. Houston, Kansas City, San Diego, and Dallas also mark the day with parades, Irish music, and parties. For many people, the holiday is now less about having Irish ancestry. It's more about having fun together. Only about 1 in 4 people celebrate because of their Irish roots. Most say they celebrate because it is a social activity, a chance to gather with friends and family. This shows that St. Patrick's Day has grown from being just for Irish communities. It has become a universal cultural moment that almost anyone can join in and enjoy. America had truly made St. Patrick's Day bigger and louder than ever before. But far away, across the Atlantic Ocean, the people of Ireland were watching closely. They saw how successful and grand their national day had become in the United States. They were now ready to reclaim their holiday and make it an even greater global celebration, lifting it to the next level of worldwide fame. 6. The world goes green. The world began to embrace St. Patrick's Day. The Global Greening Initiative helped. Famous monuments lit up green everywhere. Sydney Opera House, Rome's Colosseum, Pyramids of Giza, Niagara Falls, and Pisa's Leaning Tower joined. This clever diplomacy from Ireland shared its culture. The wide reach shows how far the Irish diaspora has spread.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, it's a government holiday due to Irish roots. Montreal hosts North America's oldest and largest parades since 1824. Its city flag shows a shamrock. London, England, with many Irish, celebrates with parades, music, and food in Trafalgar Square. Surprisingly, the day is also celebrated in Japan, Singapore, and Russia. These places have few Irish, yet they take part. So why does the world go green? First, the strong global Irish community. Second, it's fun and easy. Wear green, enjoy the party. No deep knowledge needed. This makes it easy for everyone. Third, a strong business reason. The holiday is important for shopping, selling green items, food, and drinks, bringing in much money. This global joy and planetary unity seem wonderful, but behind these green lights and happy parties, there's a huge economic machine. It makes billions of dollars and waits to be uncovered in the shadows. 7. Money and food. The St. Patrick's Day celebration has become very big, not just in spirit, but also in money. In 2026, it is expected to bring in a record $7.7 billion in the United States alone. This is a lot more than the $7 billion from 2025. People call it a micro-season because it brings so much business.
More than 60% of American adults plan to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Each person plans to spend around $50.80. Most of this money goes to buying food and drinks. Clothes and decorations are also popular. Beer is still the most popular drink. Many people look for Irish beers like Guinness. A pint of Guinness costs about $7.89 across the United States in 2026. But it costs more in places like California at $9.75 and less in West Virginia at $6.15. Food costs are also important. Corned beef and cabbage is a famous dish for this day, but its price has gone up a lot. In 2020, a pound cost $3.50. Now, in 2026, it costs $5.99. This is an increase of over 70%. Many people think corned beef and cabbage is a traditional Irish dish, but its story is different. In Ireland, people traditionally eat bacon and cabbage. Corned beef became popular in America because it was cheap. Irish immigrants often lived near Jewish immigrants in New York City. Jewish butchers sold affordable corned beef, so this dish became a mix of these cultures in America. A new trend is also growing called Celtic academia. This style mixes old Irish looks with a modern academic feel.
It is very popular on social media, showing an 850% increase in interest. People want to buy nicer things, like tweed jackets and wool skirts, not just cheap party items. This style has an aesthetic that looks both historical and smart. Even with new, expensive trends, many people are careful with their money. 73% of shoppers plan to spend less than $100. This shows their budget consciousness because of inflationary prices. Many shop at places like Walmart, Amazon, and Dollar Tree. All this money and new trends bring questions. Is the holiday becoming too much about buying and selling? Some people worry that this cultural negotiation between old traditions and new commercial ideas is changing the true meaning. Critics are starting to ask if we are losing the real heart of St. Patrick's Day forever. They worry about public drunkenness and that celebrations foster demeaning stereotypes of Irish people. 8. A day for everyone. Some people offer critiques of St. Patrick's Day. They point to things like too much drinking and how the holiday has become very commercial.
They also worry that some celebrations use old, unfair images of Irish people. These are important concerns. When a holiday focuses too much on selling things or just on parties, its deeper meaning can sometimes get lost. However, St. Patrick's Day also shows a strong message of inclusivity.
Millions of people celebrate, even if they have no Irish ancestry. They join in because it is a fun social activity. It is a day to gather with friends and family and share happiness. This broad appeal is a big part of what the day means today. One reason for its wide appeal might be the time of year. After a long, cold winter, people naturally look for chances to celebrate. St. Patrick's Day comes as winter is ending and spring is just beginning. It feels like a celebration of surviving the cold and looking forward to brighter times. This feeling of coming through difficulties and finding joy is a universal human need. The deep story of St. Patrick's Day started with a young boy, Patrick, who was kidnapped and enslaved. He showed amazing strength and resilience to overcome his troubles. The Irish people, too, faced many hard times throughout history, including famine and having to leave their homes. The holiday remembers their incredible ability to keep their culture and spirit alive despite these challenges. So, beyond the green clothes, parades, and parties, the true heart of St. Patrick's Day is about something very human. It is about remembering, connecting, and the strong need to belong. It shows how one culture's story can become a joyful moment for people all over the world. It reminds us that even from past difficulties, we can create traditions that unite everyone.
What do you think is the most important part of St. Patrick's Day for people who don't have Irish heritage?
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.